Now, I know one of the biggest complaints people have about The Force Awakens is with Rey and her ability to use the Force to get the best of Kylo Ren on two separate occasions. And this is something I also have an issue with, considering Rey probably has had no Force training at all, or at the very most, got a few years of it in when she was very young and before she was abandoned on Jakku. And even if she did get previous training, it seems clear she's forgotten about it by the fact that she thinks that Luke Skywalker, and conceivably all Jedi, were a myth. Then, on the flip side, there's Kylo Ren, who we not only know is a Skywalker, but one who has had training under both Luke and Snoke for a good portion of his life. So how in the world did Rey get the best of him on two different occasions? And yes, before I even get into it, I do realize that Kylo was not only injured during their duel at the end of the movie, but that he also didn't want to kill her, but instead wanted to take her on as his apprentice. Hence, he offered to be her teacher. And I fully believe that if Kylo, injured or not, wanted to kill her right away at the start of the duel, he could have. However, that really doesn't explain why she was able to not only block his mind probe earlier in the movie, but also able to push back and invade his mind. Now, even though we can rest assured there was a great deal of misdirection in that new trailer, one thing we can also be sure of, if we couldn't already, is that something has awoken inside of Rey. Something that she says has always been there, but is now awake. And whatever it is exactly, Luke seems to refer to it as a raw strength he's seen only once before. And though who exactly he's talking about can be debated, there's a really good chance he's referring to Kylo Ren, who he once trained and was betrayed by. We also hear, at the start of the trailer, Snoke talking about how when he first found someone, they had raw, untamed power, and beyond that, something truly special. More than likely here, he's talking to Kylo Ren, though there's also a chance he's talking to Rey. Either way, I think we can pretty safely assume that both of them have some type of special power within them, something that goes beyond just being Force sensitive. Now, it could be some type of new or different aspect of the Force we've never known about before, which is implied when Luke says in the first trailer that it's so much bigger, or it could just be something unique to the two of them. Either way, we have been told, even on the Star Wars official website, that there is a bond between Kylo Ren and Rey. We've also been told by Rian Johnson, writer and director of Episode 8, that Kylo and Rey are two sides of the same coin. And what if that is quite literally true? What if what links these two is their connection to this strange new power or aspect of the Force? And what if they share this power? What if the reason why Rey was able to turn the tables on Kylo Ren during that mind probe is because she was somehow able to, in a sense, drain the power from him and into herself, thus making her stronger and him weaker, and opening him up to the mind probe. The same could then hold true for the end of their duel. When Rey shuts her eyes and lets the Force in, what she's really doing is taking the power away from Kylo Ren and into herself. Hence, she goes on to easily beat him down after that. Let's also not forget that, in the novelization of The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren felt weaker after killing his father Han, and maybe that was because, unwittingly, Rey used her anger to begin to drain the power away from him and into herself. After all, again going back to the end of the fight, Rey did look very angry and like a predator stalking her prey once Kylo was down. And granted, this may sound like a bit of an odd concept for Star Wars, but I do think The Force Awakens made it clear that Kylo Ren knows who Rey is in some capacity, that he's likely been having visions of her his whole life. This of course goes back to that scene where he says, "What girl?" to his officer, almost like he knew or suspected who she was. It also explains why he was so surprised that she is just a scavenger the first time he met her, because if he does have a link to Rey, that he knows about and understands on some level at least, he's surprised she hasn't become something more. And finally, it explains that line in the novelization of The Force Awakens when Rey pulls the saber to her over him and Kylo Ren says, "It is you." It's at this point that he is now 100% sure this is the girl he's linked to and had visions of. And also keep in mind here that Rey saw Kylo Ren in her vision as well. That of course then leaves us to ask the question, why do they have this link in the first place and share this great power? What's the point? Well, my guess is, and I'm not saying I love the idea, but here goes. Whatever Snoke is, it is going to take both the dark and the light side to destroy him, and the Force realizes that somehow and is given this great power to the both of them to share so that one cannot become too powerful. Essentially, they are the balance, and I'd have to imagine if one kills the other, or if one dies, the power will be lost to the other one. Hence, Kylo Ren cannot just kill Rey or let her die to take the power for himself. And perhaps when Rey is being drained by Snoke in the trailer, or whatever he's doing to her, Kylo Ren will save her because at this point he realizes what will happen to him if she dies. And after this is when he extends his hand to her and the two embrace their destiny to destroy Snoke together. Or maybe that is just a forced vision that either Rey or Kylo Ren are having, and this ultimately helps one or both of them discover just what Snoke is, why he's such a great threat, and why they need each other to stop him. Well, that's all I've got for you this time. Now it's your turn to tell me what you think. Do Kylo Ren and Rey share some type of new power or aspect of the Force? Is their destiny to work together, dark and light, to stop Snoke? Or am I way off track here? Leave a comment below and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.